Protect Your Heart Initiative is a social impact organization based here in Nigeria, and our work is to reduce the burden of hypertension in Nigeria. And like you said, truly, there's a lot of lack of information, lack of knowledge around hypertension. I think one common thing that we would see, because I'm a medical doctor practicing here in Port Harcourt, and one common thing you see in the clinics are someone will come and will ask, "Oh, do you have hypertension?" "Ah, no, God forbid." Okay, but do you have BP problems? Have you ever told your BP is high? I'll be like, yes, I have BP. So there's always that gap. There's not much knowledge about hypertension. But interestingly, hypertension is so common, especially here in Nigeria. And it is commonly described as a silent killer because it really is a silent killer. It is one of those diseases that truly, as they say, does not show on the face. So you could see people literally walk into a hospital, like walk with their 2 feet, nothing wrong, no major complaints, maybe just a headache or something, and you check their blood pressure and it's reading 200, it's reading 190, 200, over 100, and that's terrible. That's literally recipe for some dangerous complications. So a lot of people don't know because it doesn't show on the face. It's not as it doesn't affect the obvious physical health as much as some other diseases. For example, if you have malaria, you feel a fever, you have headaches and you'll be weak. Everybody will know that you're sick. But with hypertension, it doesn't show on the face. So, that's really why, one of the reasons why we do what we do, to spread education, to inform people, and to bring solutions to this problem as much as we can. So, yeah.
So how and what strategy do you think we can use to amplify this, educating people on hypertension?
Okay. All right. I think that the first thing, obviously, is education, right? We cannot we cannot help people solve problems that they don't know exist. So we need to educate people on what hypertension truly is. Like I said, a silent killer. Let them know that the fact that you're okay does not mean that all is truly well, right? We're in an environment in Nigeria where hypertension is so common. So teach them about it. And another thing that we can do is to push for screening, right? I think that hypertension is almost the easiest disease to screen for, right? It's almost the easiest disease to screen for. You can check your blood pressure in less than 10 minutes. It's almost the easiest disease to screen for. BP machines are accessible, actually, especially in rural communities. The case is different in a lot of rural communities. It's not, but in urban communities, if you walk into any chemist, any pharmacy, you can easily get your blood pressure checked, right? But a lot of people don't do it because obviously it doesn't show on the face. So we can advocate for screening, right? Check your blood pressure at least once or twice every month, every 2 months, as often as it's convenient for you. And if it has been detected that you actually do have hypertension, then you should start seeing a doctor to replace your medication for management. Something else that's so important with hypertension is that it's very, very much genetic, right? So if there's family history of hypertension, your risk of hypertension is higher. So people need to know that. So if you had a mother, a father, siblings that had or have hypertension, then you should know that you need to be on the lookout more for yourself, right? Another thing is our lifestyles, right? The way the world is structured now, a lot of us live very sedentary lifestyles. You're on your desk from morning until night, you're barely having time to move about, to do other things. Our dietary patterns, the kind of food we don't eat healthy, we don't eat good enough. So all of these factors, people need to know that these are the things that predispose you to hypertension. So if you look through all of these things, you're checking your blood pressure, you're tilting towards, you're going above 120, you check the first time, it's 120 something, check second time, it's 130, you know that you need to make certain adjustments. So in summary, how we can truly raise awareness is, number one, education. Let people actually understand what this disease is, right? Understand what it is, what the impact it has on the body. Because sometimes we don't, because it doesn't show on the face, we think it's nothing. But it's one of the leading causes of stroke, heart failure, kidney failure. So let people know about this. That's first. And secondly, is to advocate for screening. It's so easy to screen for hypertension. It's so easy to check your blood pressure. It's easy to get a BP machine, a monitor in your house, or walk to the closest pharmacist. So if we can educate people and we can get them to actively screen for hypertension as often as possible, say once a month, once every 2 months, then I believe that we can go a long way in rolling back this problem. in summary, how we're trying to ensure sustainability is to make sure that we're not just working with the obvious problems, with the symptoms, that we're digging deep to the actual problems and we're trying to fix them, from the origin. Yeah.
And what has the response been like? I mean, the response from communities you try to help out and, collaborate with. Has the response been?
Okay, so it has been fair. I would say it has been fair. I wouldn't say it has been excellent. It has not really been what we desire it to be, or it has been fair enough. We've had positive responses from some communities and some other. We currently are doing a program to work with workplaces because, like I mentioned, one major problem is the sedentary lifestyle in our generation, in our time right now. Almost everyone is on their desk for hours and all of that. And so we're trying to design a program to work with workplaces, corporate organizations, corporate offices to see how they could design workplace policies that would encourage movement, that would encourage, discourage some of these lifestyle factors, right? So that's one thing we're looking to, and we're hoping to see positive feedback and see actually a good number of corporate organizations coming on board, working with us to design their policies to ensure that their staff are protected. So in a nutshell, for communities, like I said, we've had a fair response. It has never been entirely terrible where a community is like, oh, we're not interested in what you're doing, leave. We've had, calm, but sometimes you see that after a while, response is, going down and all of that. But we're determined to keep pushing because, like I said, we're at the forefront of our work with our vision. We know what we want to see. So we will keep pushing to see what we actually want to see. So we're doing a research here in Port Harcourt to understand what are the existing policies in workplace, what's the percentage or what's the amount of workplaces that actually have policies that encourage movement within their spaces. So after that, what the plan actually is, like I said, work with these workplaces, with these corporate organizations.
Yeah.
So, for example, there are some workplaces that have systems that at a certain time in the day, right? Everyone has been working from 9 o'clock. Then by 11 a.m. or by 11:30 or 12 p.m., everybody's system goes blank and you get a pop-up saying, leave your desk, right? That's one huge step because if you don't have that in place, you see people sitting for hours and you work from 9 to 5 and you probably just stood up once or twice to use the bathroom, you go back and you've been on your seat. But when you have that kind of system, everyone is forced to stand up, do other things. So workplaces can have mini gyms within the workplaces where within that time where everyone is forced to stand up, you have to go out, you have to move your body, you have to do some of these things. Another thing that workplaces can do is, like I said, screening is an important aspect of our work. So encouraging screening for their staff. So they could have a day every 2 months or every quarter where, the medical team of the organization or an external team comes in and everyone is screened, and anyone who is found to have hypertension, a lot of companies now provide HMO, and then you can use that to access care for hypertension. So these are some of the things that we have in mind. So just basically helping them to put in systems. We have things like walking desks now, standing desks, or we want to make sure that every organization works within what they can afford, right? So we know that not every organization can afford to get walking desks for all their staff, but at least they can have a space, like you said, that just encourages people to, stand up, go there, do stuff, walk on a treadmill within that time or anything like that. So depending on what they can afford and what they are willing to do for their staff to show that they truly care about the health of their staff, come in, bring in some of these interventions. So that's basically what we're looking to do.
How about devices like my wristwatch right now tells me when to stand up?
Yes.
All of
Yes.
that.
Yes. Does
that help?
Yes. That helps, definitely. That definitely helps. It's something that even as individuals, you don't have to wait for your organization to do something about it. Yeah. Even as individuals, this is you going the extra mile to check, to protect your health, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so there is a question that I just saw right now, which just popped up. It says, so there is so little you can do on your own. What kind of collaboration are you in need of?
Okay. So we're very big on collaboration, by the way. Amongst all we have actually only ever done one project alone. we are very big on collaboration. So in terms of collaboration, for now, our work is centered in the city of Port Harcourt, and we're looking to expand outside of Port Harcourt. So we're looking for means to collaborate with organizations outside of the city of Port Harcourt, River State, who are willing to help us amplify the work we do in whatever state or region they are located in. We're also looking to collaborate with companies that produce medical equipment, produce medications, right? So we're very big on screening once again. And if you think about it, well, they are quite affordable in urban communities, that's the screening machines. But then if you go to certain primary health centers, you can go to a primary health center in a rural community in Nigeria, and in that whole health center, there's no BP machine. And it's just appalling because that's like the most basic thing. Like I said, hypertension is the easiest thing to screen for. And so if you go to a health center and there's no BP machine, you will begin to wonder, how exactly do you care for people? Because it's not written on the face. Someone can walk in here and, you think all is well, but the person's BP is skyrocketing. So we're looking to partner with companies that produce some of these equipment for screening, equipment that help people to monitor ambulatory blood pressure. That in there some situations where you can monitor your blood pressure on as you're moving, as you're ambulating, basically, you don't have to be seated in certain conditions. So things like that. Also, companies that make and distribute medication for hypertension, because we also have programs where we support people who are living with hypertension in Nigeria but cannot afford their medication, because that's another thing that now leads to complications. So there are some people that actually know that they have it, but price and the cost of these medications makes it curable. It never comes to an end. You just manage it. And one of the things we want to ensure is that as Nigerians manage their blood pressure, they manage it for as long as possible. It doesn't cut short their lifespan. So if someone has to do medication so often, sometimes it gets overwhelming financially, right? So we try to step in and support people. So we're really open to collaborating with companies, organizations that are willing to join us to sponsor medications and screening machines for people that have hypertension. I hope that answers that.
Yes. So I've seen on your page where you said something about 1,000 naira gets you 50% closer to achieving. I mean, I don't know, is it affordable for somebody to give?
Well, you were actually for the elderly here in the city of Port Harcourt. For the price of BP medications, honestly, just to give a basic foundational range, it ranges from say 1,500 naira to as much as 7,000 naira, and that is enough medications for a week. That's what I said in the video. You bring us 50% closer to providing BP medications for an elderly person for 1 week. But if you think about it, ideally, nobody that's managing hypertension has to take their drugs just a week. It's not malaria. It's not an infection that you're trying to kill the organism or anything like that. It's hypertension is not an infection like say malaria that you're taking medications to kill the organism that's causing the infection. It's more of something that, like I said, it has to be managed for long. So you rarely see anybody who has hypertension has to take their drugs for just a week. So by the time you compound that cost for several weeks, months, for as long as they have to be on that medication or change to anyone or reduce the dose, by the time you think of all those intricacies, it goes way beyond the 1,000 naira I mentioned. That was just to encourage people to see that no matter how little, you can actually support this cost. But in the long term, when you think about it, it's actually not that affordable for people that have to be on these medications for way longer. So yes.
Okay. One more question I'm going to take from this platform is somebody is asking here, what are the partners and sponsors looking for in return? Most times it's difficult to get partners and sponsors. When they come, they usually ask for something. So what are they asking for? What are they usually asking for in return?
Okay. So obviously, Protect Your Health Initiative works as a non-profit. We're not a business. We're not for profit, right? So I cannot specifically categorically tell you any return, financial return that you can get. But one thing that we try to do is we see that a lot of companies have CSR demands, right? You have corporate responsibility. And so that's a great way to achieve your corporate responsibility, to carry it out. So obviously, if you partner with us, you get that publicity from, oh, hey, I'm partnering with this organization to fulfill my corporate social responsibility, right? And then in situations where things have to be escalated. So for example, another thing I didn't mention when I was answering the question earlier, I'm happy that this question came up now. Even within this new program that we're trying to design to work with workplaces to create policies that help to protect the health of their staff. And we're looking to actually partner with organizations that actually make this kind of equipment. So like smart watches that help to monitor some of these things, the systems that are involved in, we have technological needs for things like this. So organizations that actually health tech organizations that produce hardware or even software that can help us achieve this goal of helping workplaces integrate health into, their day-to-day for their staff. We're willing to partner with them. And in this scenario, if we go to a company and we want to offer this service to them, we have the partner organization, company, whatever, that's providing this service or producing this product, right? So that comes in place. So your partner is also for every organization that we step into to offer this service to, that if they accept our offer, you are the company, the organization or whatever that's going to be recommended to them and say, oh, hey, these guys make this thing, and we trust what they make. We trust that it can actually help your staff. We trust that you can integrate it seamlessly into your operations and protect the health of your staff. And, you come in and, we work together. So for every single organization that we step into, we're recommending your product, we're recommending your service. So that's another way that an organization that we collaborate with can benefit from the partnership.
Nice one. Firi, I think I've seen a lot of NGOs fold up because of lack of funding, and I've seen those who run their not-for-profit as social enterprise, and they are able to sustain in business. We know it's not for profit, but these days sustainability is shrinking a lot of NGOs. So I'm trying to look at, sustainability and the long-term vision being carried out. So people should begin to see how they can generate revenue from within to sustain the project. Yeah. I don't know if you're thinking like that.
Definitely. I'm definitely thinking like that. If you caught it at the beginning, I don't ever describe what we do. I don't describe us as a non-profit, right? I say we're not for profit, but we have plans to generate. It's so important to us. So for example, still on this program, because it's the thing in our forefront, what I'm actively thinking about morning and night. So it's the example I keep using. But this particular program I just described about going to workplaces, it's something that we're looking to generate internal revenue from, because the plan is we sensitize you, we talk to you and all of that. And then what we can now offer you is like a consultation service. So we are working with us, we're consulting for you to see how you can actually integrate these things we have recommended into your operation. So we're not going to be, we're going to be going to these companies to offer this as a consultation service. This is our first plan to generate revenue internally. We have other plans in the long term, but in the meantime, from now until the end of 2025, this is what we're actively working on as a means. So it's super important to us. PYH is a social impact organization, a social enterprise. We know the situation of things in Nigeria, we know the situation of things in Africa, in the social impact space, right? So we are actively working to see how we can create both products and services that are aligned with our vision, that are helping us accomplish our vision, but at the same time are helping us generate revenue internally. So it's definitely something that we're looking into. So,
yeah, good. So now, finally, before I let you go, you're in Port Harcourt right now. So if a community decides to say, okay, can we use your platform to reach out to this community, all expenses paid for this community, but we want to use your platform to do it in a professional manner. Is that something your platform works for?
Yeah, that's something that we have done a couple of times with different kinds of organizations. So the most important basis for the decision on matters like this is the alignment of our vision. So we're very big on our vision. So if we see that your vision is aligned with ours, then we're fully on board to work with you for stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you so very much for your time.